just reiterate them. What are the other issues? Guys, you can also make a note over chat. Let's see what are the issues that you have faced. Vijay Kumar. Okay. Yeah. So let's quickly write down the details. What issues have you faced in creating this project?
Vajran, I observed that in the modern activities, it's very easy to extract the data, but in classic activities, sometimes data cannot extract it.
In classic activities, okay, it's not as easy as modern activities. And can you tell me the reason?
I can't find the reason.
Okay.
Maybe selector issues.
If web page is not available, how to handle this error? Poonam, don't ask questions now, tell the answers. What issues you faced?
While writing the sheet name, character is more.
Your voice is not so clear.
Writing the sheet name, that character
Rishi,
is
please
more
type
than
in the
30.
message.
Vajrang,
Yes, tell me, Sneha.
not with respect to this project, but while working on other project, I faced this issue that the element names were continuously changing on the web page.
So, selectors
That is
issues
like,
you are facing.
yeah, because a name was changing.
Issues since they are dynamically changing.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the other issue? Make it fast. We are almost 30 minutes done. While writing the sheet name, getting error if character is more than 30. Okay. Okay. What are the other activities? Go ahead, make it fast. Okay, I need all the leads to answer this question at least. Ram, are you there? Ram not available. Murali? Murali not available. Rajiv?
Yes, yes, Vajra.
Yes. Can you tell me what are the issues you faced?
Yeah, the main most of the project will be getting selectors issue,
Okay.
and also the as mentioned previously mentioned the project requirement because if you don't get the requirements clear, then it may be bit difficult to develop for any developer.
Okay. Anil
And
Verma?
also,
Yeah, just a second. Anil Verma.
Yeah, hi, Vajan.
Yep. Please speak up. What issues you faced?
So actually, I'm not done that project. So this week we'll do and let you know that each and everything, the steps.
Okay. Normally, what issues you faced in the projects?
So in real time,
Yeah.
actually we are facing the selectors.
Okay. And
Um,
The website is not loading properly.
website not loading properly. Okay. So is that it? Okay. Let's take these answers. So what if I tell you these are 10 to 30% hike answers? Okay. So if you give these answers, you can expect around 10 to 30% hike of your salary. So what are 100% to 200% hike answers? So new way of understanding the answers.
Vajrang,
Yes.
yeah, just don't worry about the hiking, man.
Uh-huh.
See, we need to understand the situation first. We don't even know how to do the task. We're not worrying about the wages hike or the package hike. We just want to do the task. We just want to start how to do it at the moment.
But leave about the hike. I just mentioned it only to attract the answer. But Ravi, what you have mentioned is the important point here.
Yeah,
Okay. Understanding the requirement clearly.
yes,
Okay. So, see, leave about these hikes and all. The hikes and all are just to attract the answer, like what are the correct answers. Okay. If you ask me, I will tell each and
yeah,
every stage of a project life cycle will have issues.
right,
Okay. So, from the analysis phase, analysis, documentation, coding,
yeah,
maintenance, coding deployment,
yeah, yeah,
maintenance.
right,
Okay. Now, if I would like to answer this question,
yeah. So at the moment we are
mm,
at the first stage only. We are trying to understand the project, which
exactly,
is not completely done yet,
exactly.
and you are trying to move into the next project.
Mm. So,
So
no, Ravi, it's not like that. See,
yeah,
we
yeah,
are not understanding the project in the sense, see, if you sit and
yeah,
work only on one project for the 4 weeks, like you
yeah,
will not be able to really relate for next projects. Like, okay, after completing of one step, what is the next step? Here, we need to understand what exactly and how exactly projects need to be interconnected and interlinked.
yeah.
Okay.
So but for the first project,
Mm,
or if we can go through the process,
mm.
so the understanding, analysis, and documentation. If we can do
Exactly.
all these things in an order, so the
Exactly.
next project we can do ourselves. Does
Exactly.
that make sense?
Exactly. So, Ravi, what exactly will happen is not everyone will have a clear understanding of your expertise.
Right.
Okay, we have around 40 to 50 members, right?
Yeah.
So everyone need to have or bring into one stream. So that's what we are working on for together. Okay, let's continue. So as we move ahead, we everyone will be at the same page. Okay. So here, while answering this question or while answering this particular question, the way how we can answer is, see, each and every place or each and every stage of the project, we will have our queries or issues to be resolved. So when you are saying what are the issues you faced in an interview or in a project, you can say that, uh, see, if you start saying only about activities or if you start saying only about um, the selectors issues, or if you start saying only about website not loading properly or application is not loading properly, it's definitely reflecting that you are not having a proper experience or you are not showcasing yourself as a proper experienced person. Because if you are really an experienced person, then with 1 to 2 years of experience, the way how you automate or the automations that you have done are at least good enough that you can handle any kind of situations or any kind of standard works. Okay, but if you are saying that you are having issues with the selectors, it directly reflects that you are not having proper um, experience altogether. So instead of saying that you are having issues with selectors or you are having issues with character not more than 30 days, 30 characters, here is what you can do. So in the beginning of, from the initiation state or from the analysis phase till the maintenance and maintenance phase, we may face issue at any point of or at any stage of the project. So the main issues that we can face in the analysis phase are, first thing, no proper requirements are mentioned by the client or no proper requirements are mentioned. Process mapping is not correct. Okay, and process standardization is not done. Okay, so even before you start with the code, if you are able to identify that there are issues with the process, and if we go further with the process, then the main issues will happen or the main issues will arise, and we will not be able to continue. Or when we continue after we do some bit of coding or initial bit of coding, we will end up going back to the business and asking multiple questions which should be handled at the first place. If you are an experienced person, you should ideally know what kind of questions you need to ask, like what kind of requirements that you need to take, everything that should be taken and that should be proceeded. So if you are taking that, then the initial stage itself, in the analysis stage itself, we will be able to solve 80% of the problems. And in the documentation, maybe just saying that client is not giving us proper documentation, or there is no demo environment to understand the process manually by the team. So there can be some situations where, such as like banking clients, or some situations where there will be no other than the production version, there even the business users don't know that they have a demo version or a UAT version of their application. So all they will say is, we don't have a demo environment or a UAT environment. So we need to make clients aware that, okay, we need to have some demo environment or we need to have some test environment to at least try with the process and to work on, since we cannot directly work on the production data. Okay, so the same issue can occur, or the same issue can occur in the coding phase. No UAT application or the test data to work on. Okay, so when we don't have a proper test data, or we don't have a proper demo application, we will not be able to replicate the as is process, because with the production environment we will be limited to specific activities and we will not be able to complete the transactions. Okay, Now, with respect to documentation, here process mapping already we have done in the analysis phase. The requirements are not completed. Like even after completing the documentation, the client can bring in more requirements, and due to that, the documentation time can be increased. Okay, bring in more requirements through which we may need to redo or update documentation. Okay, next, along with the coding phase, we need to understand something: not having proper structure and standards. Proper structure or not following standards or coding standards. Okay, so how I would like to say or see, in an interview you should project yourself as someone who is doing something good for the project, or you need to project yourself that you are doing something that is creating some value to a particular process. Okay, so what I will or how I will answer this is, the existing team is following a process flow or just a flow chart. After we moved in, or after our team moved in, we standardized the process with RE framework. Since most of the components are already created, all we need to do was to recreate or just remap the process into RE framework, which was very easy. And the process became standardized with respect to exceptions, with respect to log mechanisms and all. So that's how we handle this situation. In the deployment phase, what are the issues that you can face is, um, licensing issues is what you can face. We don't have licensing is not procured, or you can also say the machines are not available. Non-availability of machines, licensing issues, and very important thing is libraries issue. Libraries used in the project are not in the production environment. So what exactly will happen when we don't have libraries are, so if I use, let's assume that I use some PDF activities. Now in the production machine, if I don't have PDF activities, or if I need to install them, and if I don't have them, then the bot will not run, it will just throw an error. So these kind of development issues we face, and how to resolve them: identify all the packages we used, or packages or libraries we used, and before deploying to the production, before deploying process to prod, make sure all libraries are updated. Okay, and the sixth point we can tell, see again, there can be many more options or many more activities that you can tell, but if you go ahead and tell on a project level, not on the activity level, that's when you can show yourself as a senior developer, rather than just going and telling that I have issues with selectors, and I have issues with understanding the code. Okay, see, okay, you can check it later. So maintenance issues will come when we have something like process failing continuously due to unhandled exceptions. So if a process is handled properly and if a process is handled in the exceptions properly, then for every exception that occurs, we know what exactly we need to do. If the process is failing continuously and if we don't know what the exceptions are, that's when the actual problem arises. Okay, so to prevent this, what we need to do? We need to do proper testing to avoid this. Avoid this issue. Okay, so just understand now. See, even if you answer on a basic level like around 2 points on each and every stage of the project development life cycle, that should be enough. Why? Because you are explaining him or her according to a project, not as a activity or not as a simple use case. Okay, now can we just try out? So Ravi, is it the same that you follow in Power Automate, or sorry, in Automation Anywhere, or is it anything else? Ravi, are you there?
What is that?
Are you following the same method in Automation Anywhere, or is it anything different?
No. I don't work, man. I don't have any experience.
Okay, you don't have experience in Power Automate also?
I don't have in IT
Oh,
at
okay,
all.
great. Okay, great, great. Okay, fine. So, fine. So, this is the way how we normally need to explain, or this is the way how we normally need to tell about process or tell about automation or tell about issues in the project. So here when you are saying all these answers, what exactly this meant is you know each and every stage of a project and you know how to work on every stage. Like if there is any issue in the analysis phase, even before you start with the coding phase, coding session, you know how and what to solve them. So this will clearly give you the idea. So what we will do is rather than just reading out, um, do we have Sneha? Can you please unmute?
Yes.
Now with respect to our process, like if you are asked the same question again, can you please tell me what are the issues you faced and how did you solve them? What will be your answer? Now,
With respect to personal project.
see, issues what I have mentioned are generic to all the projects, irrespective of what project it is.
Okay.
Okay, so when you are explaining about projects or when you are explaining about use cases, make sure that you worked on many projects. So these are like general things, but any
Right.
kind of project is something that I can handle.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
just go ahead
So in my
and try to answer.
yeah. So the issues faced by me while working on projects were, first of all, project mapping wasn't correct, and it's like requirements were not mentioned properly. So it was difficult for me to understand the project clearly and start working on it. So analysis was little incomplete because of that. And second thing is like in the documentation, all the required
Okay,
things were not
Sneha, you also
mentioned.
need to tell how did you solve it, not just the problem. Mm.
So, so for requirements, we had more meetings with the client so that we can clarify the requirements and how they expect exactly and what is as is process by them.
Okay, okay,
For the documentation which were incomplete, for that again we had certain meetings with the client so that according to the project processing, whatever documents we require, they will be clear.
okay.
Then while automating the project, they didn't have test data environment. And second thing is that they were not having proper structure, which is not according to the coding standards. So for that purpose, we actually requested them to check whether they have test application because without test application, it was difficult for us to work on all the aspects of automation. Limitations were there.
Okay.
So we put forward that requirement, and then while deploying, we actually facing issues, licensing issues, and then we also faced issues of non-availability of machines. Similarly, we had an issues with libraries also, because whichever libraries we created while developing the code, those libraries were not available on their machines.
Okay.
So we checked with respect to them, and then we made sure that all those things will be available. If they are not, we installed them.
Okay.
And then we started the deployment. And in the maintenance, we came to know that due to certain unhandled exceptions, we couldn't maintain the project, in the sense project execution was failing. So we did the testing properly, and we checked wherever it is failing. And in case it is some business rule exception which is not clarified by the client, then we just took care of that by connecting with the client again and again, doing all the rework.
Okay.
So this is how we handled the issues, and these were some issues faced.
Exactly. So if you just observe, you were able to answer around 5 to 6 minutes for a single question. So if the interview itself is around 1 hour, and for every question, if you answer around 5 minutes, okay, maybe there can be small discussions. You will be hardly answering around 6 to 10 questions, not more than that. Okay, but if you give only one word answers, then the questions pattern will change altogether, and you will be getting too many questions which you may or may not be prepared. Okay.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Yes. Okay, I think you understood the point here, like what and how we try to get or try to answer this question. Okay.
Yeah, understood. Because I have answered this question twice before, and I know what mistakes I did now.
Yes. Okay. So you already understood what mistakes you committed in the previous interviews.
Correct.
Okay, done. So yes, so let's go with this project that we are talking about, the next project. So the next project that we can work on, give me 2 seconds, I'll just bring in. So I've started recording again. Yeah. So today's task is to complete project PDD. Steps are open task capture. Okay. Record the process steps as is process. Export. Click on file. Export PDD. Okay, so if you click on PDD, it will create you a key PDD with all the details, with all the steps that you have created. So just check with that. Okay, guys, is it clear? Not clear? Are you able to understand what we need to do? Not understanding a bit? Okay. Supplier management system. Okay, supplier management system, not supply chain management. Okay, I'll change it to supplier management system. Understood. Okay. So here we have Vajrang. So June 2022, supplier management system. Okay, just check with this one, supplier management system, and complete all the activities. Can we take a break for today? Will you work together? If you want teams, whom you are linked up to, go to team details. Just check it out here. In team details, we have teams. In that you have all the members who are linked up to all the subgroups. So by tomorrow, at least bring me with some requirement document or anything that you can. If you complete the project completely, even that's fine for me, but make things happen. So analysis phase, then coding, then development, completion, testing, and then deployment. Each and every stage will be covered. From now, for the next 3 weeks, from this week, next 2 weeks, we will be doing the same activity. So you will easily get to know each and every concept that you need to take part in a project. If that is it, everyone, let's say bye and leave for the day.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
Vajrang. Bye,
much.
Vajrang.
Bye bye.
Bye all.
Bye. I'll just record the
Thanks, sir.
meeting and I'll
Bye.
give you information.